Everything is energy. Our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, or our inactions emit energy. Every energy has a frequency, and thoughts and feelings on similar frequencies bring more of those. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about why you may be feeling stuck. If you're in a space where you're feeling stuck, it may have to do with your vibration, your frequency, your energy. Everything is energy, and we as humans are energy beings. We may look like we're made of flesh and bone, but we are in fact made of energy. Me talking to you right now is giving off an energy, a frequency, a vibration. That's how we get our words out of our mouths. And just the fact of bringing a conversation out into the world is brought forth by the frequency. Now, if I'm on a frequency of everything bad happens to me, that's a frequency. It's also a thought. It also brings feelings. If I'm thinking on that frequency, most likely I will be feeling not so enjoyable. Now, when we look at things in this way, when we think of things in this way, when we feel of things this way, this colors everything we see in the external world. If we're feeling stuck wherever we are, the one thing I want to remind you of is that we stick ourselves. If we're feeling stuck, no matter where we are in our lives, in our day today, if I'm feeling stuck, what I know now is that there is nothing outside of myself that can make me feel stuck, because I make my feelings. Nothing outside of me can have me feeling in any particular way. No circumstance, no experience, no conversation, no interaction with something outside of myself can change my feelings about myself unless I allow them to be changed. Again, I'm doing that to myself. When we practice working with our energy, working with observing our thoughts without judgment, working on observing the ways that we're communicating, and working on the ways that all of these little pieces are all connected, this is when beautiful things happen. And that's what I wanted to share with you. So your thoughts bring your feelings bring your thoughts, and then they bring your actions or your inactions. So if we're feeling stuck, one of those, most likely all of them, are in a frequency of stuck. So how do we get out of that frequency of stuck? Well, the first is we must observe that that is what we're doing. We must be aware of it. We must notice it. So if you're finding yourself saying this or thinking this, observe, and then determine, what about this experience am I thinking I'm stuck on? What part of this is having myself feel that I'm stuck? Because that's what it is. The economy does not make me stuck. My clients do not make me stuck. My home environment does not make me stuck. None of those things can affect my internal state, which is all this is. So if we're on that frequency of stuck, remember, it's also just a state of mind or a mind state, a mind frame. We can frame it however we like. And when we frame things in a different way, when we shift the thought by framing it in a different way, we shift our energy, we shift our vibration. We then can shift the actions, and all of these work in alignment. They do all the time, whether we're aware of it or not. So we can try to deny the existence of thoughts having feelings or thoughts emitting energy, but it's nature. It's one of those natural laws that we can try to argue on it, but it just is. It's not something that when we recognize it, we don't choose to argue about it anymore. And those arguments are most likely with yourself. So just know I have had those arguments with myself, and I'm like, no, this can't be. I am not creating this stress that I'm feeling. And then I realized, yes, I am. But let me tell you, when we recognize this is powerful, because this, when we recognize it and when we use this for our highest purpose, our highest good, this is when we recognize that we've been giving away that power all along. But it's okay. It's not judgment. When we do this, then we realize I don't have to give away my power anymore unless I choose. And in the moment, if I find that I am giving away my power by allowing myself to get stressed or feel stuck about something that I'm saying is external to me and not accepting my own power, I'm choosing to do that. So again, no judgment. This is a beautiful place to be. So remember, as Nikola Tesla says, when you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And that was Nikola Tesla, a man who was way before his time, and sadly also died before his time, but his legacy lives on. And if you look behind me, you see I have an assortment of books. I am going to share some of the authors that have been really enlightening to me, and some that you may have heard of, some that you may have explored yourself, or maybe you haven't. And some of them to me were completely in the moment, like when I first discovered them, they were a complete surprise. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know that this person was this deep thinking. Now, of course, Tesla, he's a scientist. Of course, I knew he was deep thinking, but I also didn't realize that he was a spiritual scientist. And at that time, when I recognized that, it was about the same time that I recognized that science and spirituality do not have to be either or. They can coincide. They can live in harmony. And that was another beautiful aha moment. So I'm going to leave this with you now. If you are feeling like you're stuck and you would like to get unstuck, I'm giving a free webinar, and it's called Get Out of Your Mind. In this webinar, you will learn about the 7 key essentials that make up the practices that I teach. These practices are ways that we can learn to be observers of ourselves in a non-judgmental way, almost as if we're observing something outside of ourselves, but without that judgment that we can sometimes even do when we're observing things outside of ourselves. But what I've found in my own experience is that we observe things outside of ourselves and judge, but when we're doing that, we're also judging ourselves. And most of us judge ourselves a lot more than we're aware of. It's not always helpful. And actually, I've discovered that it probably isn't helpful to me ever, but I choose to not use those words that are limiting, and ever and never and always. Those can be limiting words. So it's also a way that we can observe our thoughts and then also the words that are coming out of our mouths. Because when we frame something in a certain way, as I explained previous, we shift our energy. One word can shift our energy. That is powerful. So if this is something that you want to explore, definitely get in that webinar, and that registration link is bit.ly/yourmind2022. And I'm going to put that in the description of the video so that you can get in there. And if you are resonating with what I'm putting out here and you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Let me know in the comments what's resonating with you, or if you think I'm way off base or even a little, anything you want to share. I am really excited to learn what you're thinking, what you're practicing, and where you are in your journey. This is the purpose, the intention of my videos, is to have a conversation going on and connect. And I really look forward to seeing you on the next video. I will see you then.